According to psychologist James Van Fleet, two of the 14 basic human desires are sense of belonging and sense of peer approval. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler. Thank you for tuning in. I'm a lonely guy. Let's just start off right there because that's what this video is about. I'm going to be sharing strategies that I've used to try and mitigate the negative effects that come with being alone. If James Van Fleet was in a room with us right now, I would probably ask him, what do we do in a situation where we're going to be alone, or we're going to be alone for an extended period of time? How do we, if these are the basic human desires, how do we deal with that? Well, that's what I want to answer in this video. Now, I am not the reincarnation of James Van Fleet. I'm just a 28-year-old guy who has no friends right now. That sounds so horrible the way I put it, but it's the truth. The number one thing, and I'm going to be sharing 5 things here. The number one thing is to realize that loneliness, it's not an indictment against you. Loneliness is not a personal failure. It's not a reflection of your capabilities or your abilities or your aptitude to succeed or fail at any particular thing. It's simply not. It's not a reflection of your moral compass. It's not a reflection of your integrity. It's not a reflection of the characteristics that make you who you are. Once you come to this realization that it's not a failure, it will help alleviate some of the stressors that come with being alone, because I feel like society often perpetuates this notion that, if you're alone, you must be doing something wrong. There's that saying that goes something along the lines of, so, do you think it's more likely that there's something wrong with you or something wrong with everybody else, and that's why you're alone? No, I don't think it's an either or case. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with being alone. It's not a desired state for many. I would argue it's not a desired state for anyone if it's going to be for an extremely extended period of time. Nobody wants to be alone ad infinitum from the day they're born to the day they pass. It's just simply not the case. And I'm saying this as someone who's highly introverted. So it's not a personal failure. It has nothing to do with failure at all. And it doesn't mean that other people actually dislike you. We could be alone for a myriad of reasons. We could just be in a period in our lives where we're not engaged in activities or behaviors that produce outcomes of high social interaction. And that's okay. Like right now, I'm on break from college. I'm temporarily not working. I'm actually going to be starting work very soon, though. And once I'm back in school, once I'm starting to work again, once I get involved with my fraternity again, my Freemason fraternity, I'll have more opportunities to socially interact, more opportunity to have meaningful social interactions and social relationships. But for the time being, I just have to tell myself I'm not a failure because I'm just taking a break. The second thing is, you have to learn to love yourself first. I've, at times in my life, struggled with loving myself. It's been a never-ending struggle of allocating some degree of devotion to myself and understanding that, yeah, the world doesn't revolve around me, but at the end of the day, you have to love yourself to enjoy any element of the world. You have to love yourself, have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, and value yourself. If you're incapable of doing that, you're just not ready for having other relationships in your life. People don't want to be in the company of someone who doesn't want to be in the company of themselves. And I'm not saying, again, that this is a reflection on you or anything of that nature. It's not my argument at all. It's just, you have to care for yourself. You can't be apathetic about your own well-being prior to forming meaningful relationships. So that's two realizations. The third one is to detach loneliness from your idea of self-worth. A lot of times we associate our self-worth with how we are perceived by other people. We evaluate our self-worth based on how other people see us. And so it makes sense that when we are alone, many times, oftentimes, we'll come to the conclusion that, well, we must have been evaluated to be negative. We must have been determined to be a negative detriment to people's associations, or people just don't see the value of being associated with us. And so I want you to eradicate this idea from your mind immediately. Your worth is not defined by whether or not you have a lot of company or a little. There's a lot of horrible people from history who had a lot of company. There's some fantastic people from history who've achieved significant, monumental things that continue to affect us to this day, who weren't often in a lot of company. That doesn't mean they were alone completely, but I'm talking about the type of people who isolated and became bookworms, or people who hold themselves up in their studies. You don't have to be a mover and shaker of this world to leave an impact on this world. So don't allow the perceptions of others to prevent you from making a difference. Detach loneliness from your idea of self-worth. Number 4. This one's going to sound a bit unorthodox, but I'm being entirely serious. Move your body regularly. And the first thing I want to say on this is that there's a saying that goes, if the effects of exercise could be prescribed in a bottle, it would be the most effective antidepressant in the world. Well, as you know, being lonely can oftentimes be a very depressing experience for reasons we've already talked about. When you're alienated, you feel like people perceive you in a negative way, or that you're just not valued, or that you're a failure, that you just can't even respect yourself. But when you move your body consistently, there's a series of chemical reactions that happen inside of your body, which are a net benefit to your mental psychology. And when you exercise regularly, not only does it improve your mood and your perspective and outlook on the world, but it does make you, in my view, appreciate yourself more. When I exercise regularly, I feel a sense of tranquility and happiness that I don't feel when I don't exercise. And exercise, it's not a substitute to social relationships, but it's certainly something that can acquiesce from a lot of the stressors you might feel while you are in a lonely state, while you are in an alienated state. Exercise can mitigate the severity of that. And I'd argue that when you're healthy, exercising can actually allow you to have more meaningful, happier, enjoyable relationships as well, because of those impacts, positive, that take place on your attitude, your mood, your psychology. Number 5. This one's easier said than done. But I want you to find a purpose outside of any person or group of people. For myself, what this looks like is I enjoy reading. Right now, I just started a book called Win Every Argument, The Art of Debating, Persuading, and Public Speaking. And I also plan on starting Brave New World. I read it once before, many years ago. So that's one hobby of mine. And books, for me, they offer an escape from the chaos of the world. Books, for me, they expose me to the great intellectuals of the past, present, and they allow me to formulate opinions based on the lived experiences, not just of myself, but off of the lived experience of others. It increases my empathy, sympathy. It bolsters my emotional intelligence. It increases my verbal intelligence. It allows me to put myself in the shoes of others, understand where other people are coming from. There's just so many benefits that come from reading, and I find it to be highly purposeful. I find it to be incredibly beneficial to my health mentally. And that's the purpose for me that I have beyond just interacting with people. With a book, I don't need to go up to a person to get permission to read a book. I don't need to ask a group of people, hey, what book do you recommend I read next? I just don't want to start till I get your opinion. Like, I can go wherever the heart desires. So find yourself a purpose that goes beyond any person or group of people, and then summon that willpower, inner willpower. Devote that passion towards the task that you've decided for yourself. And it could be anything, really. It doesn't have to be reading, it can be exercise, it can be a job that you're very passionate about and that you enjoy doing, that you wake up and you don't even see it as a job. You just see it as something that needs to be done and that you're willing to do because you just love doing it. Doing journal entries and writing, developing your writing abilities is another hobby that you can utilize in order to try and find greater purpose in this world. There's so much that you can do. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Tyler Adolfo. What are your thoughts about loneliness? Are you alone right now? What's the longest period of time you've had to go being alienated from other people? How did it affect you? How did you deal with it? And looking back on that time, how would you deal with it differently after watching this video and after the lessons you've learned over time? Thank you so much, everybody. Love, light, and tranquility to all.